Okay, so we've set the context. Now, hopefully, you've got a better idea of where we're going, right? So you're a part of an organization, you're part of a team, and you want to understand, okay, how can I do this? How can I change or influence or redirect my team in some way? We those examples that we were talking about, exercise, how do we help change how either myself, how am I motivated to do something? How can I change the motivation that somebody else has to do something? How can we do this? How can we understand organizations better and how to guide and direct them? All right, so we're going to start now, okay? So we need to dive deep into some framework, okay? So the first thing that we're going to need to learn about is what's called systems theory. Now, if you're not familiar with systems theory, it's basically, in a nutshell, it's like this. Systems theory helps describe, obviously, how systems work. And what it does is it recognizes patterns. So one of the things that's maybe kind of easy to see here as an example is going viral, right? There are patterns in the same way that a virus spreads around the world, right? If you take sort of the first patient 0 who catches a virus and spreads it to the first couple other people that they come into contact with, and then they spread to other people, there's a certain sort of viral spread that happens when you spread a disease, right? Well, systems theorists also recognize that there are patterns just like that in other things, like the spread of an idea, right? Or the acceptance of a product into a new market, right? It starts small, and then it evolves, and it tweaks, and it grows. And this same pattern comes into play in lots of different kinds of systems, right? And so systems theory sort of brings a place for all that to come together, where you can start to recognize patterns and how they apply in maybe different contexts, right? So somebody who wrote a lot about this kind of thing was Malcolm Gladwell in his book called Tipping Point. And so this great book talks a little bit about those same kinds of patterns, kind of a great introduction to systems theory there. And then there's another book called Reinventing Organizations by Frederick Laloux. And this takes a certain aspect of systems theory and applies it a little bit more towards sort of a social context. So in this video series, we're going to be referring a lot to the model that was used by Frederick Laloux in his book, Reinventing Organizations. So if you think back to the other video where we talked about the different ways that somebody could feel motivated to exercise, and maybe you remember that it seemed to be that there were different themes that extended through each of those different stages. So these themes, well, it's actually no coincidence that these underlying themes are essentially the driving motivation behind 4 of these different modes that we want to talk about, the ways that our mind works. So let's dig deeper into each of these modes.